Riot Civil Unrest from Merge Games is a real-time riot simulator that places you in actual historical riots. The game's not done yet, but the slice that's available now lets you play as participants in riots that happened within the last 25 years in Greece, Italy, Egypt, and Spain. Objectives switch depending on whether you choose to play as rioters, which the game sometimes calls rebels, or if you decide to play as the police. As rioters, you might have to occupy a certain area or move past police blockades to reach a destination. Playing a game set in real-world riots feels odd. You throw rocks and firecrackers to help defend a zone, or move the crowd to a specific spot. If those don't work enough, some well-placed Molotovs might help clear the way. Get too hostile though, and you run the risk of creating too much chaos to achieve the objective. As police, you're expected to remove protesters from an already occupied space, or destroy their small camps one tent at a time. Characters and objects in the environment are all physics-based, so rocks smash against riot shields and police struggle to push through compact crowds in defensive formations. You can also customize special abilities for each scenario prior to jumping in. For rioters, that means cooldown abilities like using social media to call in reinforcements, megaphones to wrangle back in stray protesters, and even bringing along Malox to clear any effects done by the police's tear gas. Police have access to batons, stun grenades, and gas canisters to break apart crowds, and they can arrest any rioters that step too far out of line. Both sides can switch between a more peaceful approach and a hostile one that unlocks your more violent abilities. You might even catch a rioter throwing bikes on their own. Depending on how violent either side gets during each round will also ultimately affect what the news will say happened at the riot. The game keeps track of how many injuries or deaths occur and who is ultimately responsible. The game also has a local multiplayer mode and a level editor to create your own riots or reenact other historic events. Learning the mechanics can be a fun challenge, but the sound of gas canisters being shot into crowds and hearing the resulting screams is jarring. It's disturbing to see a pixelated character bleed out on the street. The game seems sincere in its goal to tell the world about these riots, but it can sometimes be a real bummer. Maybe that's the point. Riot is currently in early access on Steam, and Merge says there are plans for it to come to iOS, Android, and consoles too.